What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Boots, Banter, and Beyond, the stories of Irreverent Warriors. This is the show where stories about how humor and camaraderie have changed lives for the better. I'm your host, as always, Eric Schessel. Today on the show, we are joined by local coordinator Olivia Ann McBride from IW Des Moines out there in Iowa.
Yes.
Olivia, welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. It's the day after my birthday. I'm another year older. This also marks halfway. I've spent half my life in the military. I turned 34 and I've been in since my 17th birthday. So.
Okay. All right. How are you? So are you staying in for like the full 20 kind of thing and then doing their whole term package?
Yes. So I'm in the National Guard. So I just started active duty for the Guard, AGR for them, about 9 years ago. So to get the full active duty retirement, I've got to be in about 27 years. So I have about 10 years left.
How many years left?
10.
Okay, that's not so bad.
Yeah.
But then you'll get that nice pension package and you get to do whatever the hell else you want for the rest of your life.
Yes. Yes.
Had I not been riddled with back injuries and knee injuries, I would have fought to stay in more. But I would have retired from active duty at I think 37, which is still like super young to like just now I can still go off and just do whatever the heck I want to do.
Yes. Yes. I still have a whole lot of life left ahead of me after I retire, so I'm not worried. Yes.
No, you're good. You're good. Well, since we're on the topic of military service and stuff like that, so we will jump into your Silkies Hike, but we want to know more about who Olivia, the human being, is behind the IW curtain. So talk to us about your military service. You kind of already told us your branch, but what's your MOS? What do you do, and all that good stuff?
So I'm in the Iowa Army National Guard. I've been in for 17 years. I'm an automated logistics specialist, and I've done that my entire career. So if you think of like an O'Reilly Auto Parts store and an Amazon warehouse and the service department at a dealership, that's what I do for the Army. Deployed to Afghanistan in 2010, 2011, and also Guantanamo Bay in 2017, 2018.
Okay.
Yes. And I currently teach logistics. So National Guard units from around the country come through the base that I work on here in Iowa, Camp Dodge, and we teach them best practices based on SOP and doctrine to help kind of refine their processes so that they can actually deploy successfully.
Nice. Okay. Are you going to continue to do that even once you get out of or once you have retired? Or is there something else that you kind of want to do with your logistics expertise?
I definitely don't. I have a bachelor's degree in recreational therapy, so I want to maybe do something with that. I'm also a victim advocate for the military, so I thought about doing that as well on the civilian side. I definitely don't think I want to do logistics. You do something for 27 years, you want to change a pace. So I want to do something I enjoy.
No, I totally get that because I was security forces for the Air Force. So the whole thing was I was going to be like a cop when I got out and stuff like that because it's easily translatable and that for those, all that stuff went towards experience and law enforcement and all that stuff. And then I just realized that I'm too burnt out and it's overworked, underpaid, and especially in the climate that we're in currently, like being a law enforcement officer right now kind of sucks. So I wanted nothing to do with that. So, yes, I changed direction. I do something totally different now. But but kudos to want to do the hopping on the therapy side. That's awesome. We need more of it. I know that.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, then, so how did you find out about Irreverent Warriors?
I was actually just finishing up college and had moved to Des Moines, and I was looking for some purpose, and I was on some sort of I was on some sort of Facebook group, and I commented on a post looking for help for some veterans organization. I literally had no clue what I was getting into, and that was in 2019 or 2019. So I was asked to, hey, come hang out in my garage and let's talk about this Silkies Hike thing. And so I went and hung out with a bunch of veterans, and I learned about IW, and I kind of stayed in the background that year and just learned about Irreverent Warriors. And I was supposed to help the next year, and that would have been COVID 2020. And our hike coordinator backed out 6 weeks before the hike, and he didn't have a strong team, and he was my neighbor. And basically he said, here, this is yours. Figure it out. So 6 weeks before our hike in 2020, I was the only one doing it. So I did it in 2020 and 2021. I led, and then I moved for a couple of years. So I handed it off to Steven Zapata, who I love dearly. He's a great co-lead and a great part of my team. And I took it back over this year for Steven. So that's my involvement.
Cool. And so this, because I was Combat Outpost the first leadership conference that you'd gone to?
It was. And
okay.
To be honest, I don't know how I haven't gone sooner. And it was the best experience for a local coordinator to be able to go to. And I feel like I went to the right one, since we weren't at a stuffy hotel somewhere. We were actually out enjoying nature. So it was pretty cool.
Well, the hotels weren't bad, right? Like I think the biggest thing was the expense, right? Because we're all flying in, we're getting hotel rooms, and there's tons of food that needs to be catered and all that. And so you would not only have that element, but you're also like the breakout groups didn't seem to have the same impact as they did at Combat Outpost.
Right.
Then people were like going out to the bars and stuff afterwards, which not a problem. People are able to kind of cut loose a little bit and hang out and do all that stuff. And so, being able to be because I was at the last few conferences, including Combat Outpost, where you and I met.
Yeah.
It was just it's just a different experience and stuff like that. But Outpost was definitely a good time.
I definitely made some really good memories. Actually, I met Brooke Edkin. I don't know how you say her last name, but anyway, from Texas. And she was a volunteer coordinator that had come to Outpost. And she's actually coming. They're flying from Texas. Her husband's a veteran. So he's hiking, and she's helping me as a volunteer for the hike because of Combat Outpost. So.
Nice. Well, that's awesome.
Yes.
Hell yeah. Combat Outpost, creating relationships out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So you did already kind of touch on like how you became a leader for Irreverent Warriors. It was kind of put into your lap. I've heard that story too many times where someone was just here, basically, this is yours now, and without like, oh shit, what do I do now? So what is your why? What does Irreverent Warriors mean to you as somebody who is a leader in the organization?
What is my why? For my community of veterans, really before it was just an event to be planned, and the evolution now of Irreverent Warriors and turning it into, alternative modalities of healing, and watching my fellow veterans heal and grow from their experiences with Irreverent Warriors. I want to keep doing that for my community. I want them to stay involved and continue to heal and grow.
I hear somebody in the background. Are they not happy that you're not paying them any attention?
I have a dog and a cat, and my dog is a sweet old lady, and my cat is Satan's most handsome spawn, and he is being a devil.
all I hear is a puppy barking in the background, and I'm wondering what is somebody upset that they're not getting their belly rubs from mama, and apparently it's not the case. It's something totally different.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's fine. But no, I agree. Seeing the evolution of the organization, because my first hike was in 2019,
Yeah.
where I went solo myself, and I helped out for a couple of years after that before I was presented with the opportunity to lead the organization after the 2021 hike. But seeing the evolution from the drunken, not really, drunken bar crawls is a little too pointed. That's not, because they were a little bit more than that, but I mean, it was more of a hyper party atmosphere, and there was nothing wrong with that. But as the organization grew, they realized they couldn't continue down that path because it just wasn't giving a good image for the veteran community, especially if we're doing these things all over the country and now even all over the globe. So yeah, the direction of more focus on the mission and alternative healing and stuff like that. There's a lot out there to help the veteran community, and the Silkies Hikes hopefully are able to bring the veterans together to show them that there are services and stuff out there for everybody to utilize. So,
yes. And I think it turned from just an event to capitalizing on those relationships, and really that's I'm loving that evolution part where I'm fostering the relationships. I'm helping in that way. So I like that part.
Absolutely. So, all right. So yeah. Oh, boom. There we go. So this is the hike flyer for the Des Moines, Iowa Silkies Hike. Now, for those that are watching, you see that QR code that's down there. That's over here in the middle, right there. If you scan that right now with your phone, you can actually register right now, as you probably should. If you're out that way, or if you're not out that way and you have not registered for the Des Moines Silkies Hike yet, you only got a couple more days because it's coming up on Saturday. So guess what? You need to get registered now. So Olivia, tell us about your logo. I'm looking at it, and it looks like the cityscape in the logo itself is the same or very similar to the cityscape on the flyer. So talk to us about the significance of that.
So it's the Des Moines cityscape, and it really, I don't even know, Andrea, one of my team members found this image, and it just really stuck because the silhouette is really nice, and it is actually Des Moines too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. So what can you tell us about the hike without going into like giving everything away, right? You don't want to, we still want people to register and come out for your hike. And so if you give us everything, it's almost like when you see too many movie previews of a movie, like why am I going to see the movie? I just saw all the best parts, right?
Right.
Give us some juice for the hike to entice people to come out. What do you got going on?
So we have, celebrating the 10th anniversary of Irreverent Warriors, our meet and greet this year is a black and white party.
Ooh.
A little bit classy, a little bit trashy, and a whole lot irreverent. So think jorts, think mullets, think tuxedo t-shirts, and anything in between. Wear your dad shoes, your New Balance shoes with, your Silkies and a tuxedo t-shirt. That's going to be a great time to kick off the weekend. At our step off, we have the VFW presenting colors for us. And we also have the incoming national commander for the VFW, Carol Whitmore, speaking, saying a few words before step off. That's pretty cool. There's going to be a comedian at lunch, which is pretty cool. He reached out to me. It is called, oh gosh, now I would blank on the name. Anyway, a very nice comedian. He's a veteran. He's a Navy veteran himself. And he is the one, he has a mobile comedy trailer. So he'll be doing his comedy outside over our lunch break, which I think is pretty cool.
That's cool. I think that's the first time I've ever heard of something like that. So that's definitely something cool and unique.
Yes, absolutely. What else is super cool? I think that's all I'm going to give away now. I don't want to say too much.
Well, right. Exactly. You don't want to, you tell me too much more, I'm not going to want to come out, right? I mean, I'm not able to anyway, but you get the point.
Yeah.
Awesome. Though that sounds like a lot of fun. What was one of the biggest struggles that you had in getting the hike together this year?
I had multiple members of my team this year say this has been the most streamlined and straightforward hike that we've ever planned. So to say that I haven't had struggles would be a lie, but we had very minimal struggles this year. The photographer backed out on me 2 weeks before the hike, so I had to find a new photographer, which photography, I think, is a struggle for a lot of people because you have to find a photographer that's willing to walk with the element the whole time and donate their time, then edit the photos and give the photos back to Irreverent Warriors. That's a big ask for someone. So finding a photographer, and the gal that I got is a godsend. Most of her family is veterans and she has a passion for it. And I was pretty anxious to find a photographer. And I was like, what's meant to be is going to happen. So I was trying not to stress about it because I knew it was going to come. It was just when and how it was going to present itself. So my community really stepped up and got the word out that we were looking for a photographer, and we scored someone fantastic. So.
Well, that's awesome, though, and the photography is so important because it's catching all the connections, it's catching all the smiles, all the hugs, even some of the tears, from throughout the day. And so having a photographer is super important. And I don't think you're the only one that has dealt with that as a struggle this year. I've seen other hikes having troubles trying to nail down a photographer and stuff like that, and it can be tough.
Yes.
How's the community out there? How do they embrace the veteran community and Irreverent Warriors as a whole? I always like to ask, especially for like out in different regions of the U.S., because it's always interesting to hear what people say.
So I actually just spoke this morning at the State Veterans Affairs Commission meeting. And I get nervous doing public speaking. I don't care how many times I've done it. I just fumble over my words. And I was so nervous going into it. And I went up there, spoke from my heart, and talked about Irreverent Warriors. And I never expect anything out of it because I'm just trying to maybe get a couple hikers signed up, and that's about it. But I had people ask really nice questions. They were totally on board with the mission, and they were excited to get involved. And I had a potential national sponsor come online and mention something after the meeting. But I was really pleasantly surprised at how well received my message was in that meeting. Overall, the city of Des Moines all honk and wave at us as we come through. The community loves Irreverent Warriors, honestly.
Good. Awesome. No, because I know it's not always the case. Some places it's a little bit more conflicted, I guess, and because of what it looks like and all that, so it can be touch and go. So it's good to hear that that 99% of the communities really do embrace the organization especially when they see and they know what that we're all doing out there on a short search and battle meter and
You're right.
looking at the weirdest hike you've ever seen.
There's a term called Iowa nice. So everyone in Iowa is just really nice people anyway. So.
Well, that definitely helps.
Yes.
It's like, that's actually really cool. I wish the rest of the U.S. would kind of embrace that motto where let's just all be nice. Let's just all be a good human being.
Yes.
No, none of the details matter. Just be a good human being. That's all it takes.
Nice.
If you were talking to someone, you came across someone, and I guess this is kind of basically, I'm asking you to regurgitate your speech, I guess, from today when you're talking to the organization. But you came across somebody and you're trying to convince them to come out and at least experience us once, whether it's to come up for the Silkies Hike or any of the vet-togethers, anything like that. What is something that you would tell them to try to reel them in and bring them in?
I've started using Hugh's catchphrase of a band of misfit toys. And I mean, that gets a lot of people laughing, right? It's about the laughter. That's what you come for, is a little day of camaraderie. And then you get there and you realize that you need a little bit of healing too. And you realize that this community has got your back. And really, that's kind of how I frame it is, hey, come laugh with us. You don't have anything else going on today anyway. So come out and come laugh with us for a little bit. Then that gets them there. And then you continue with the healing part of Irreverent Warriors.
Absolutely. No, and that makes a lot of sense too. It's the misfit toys, the whole, we're bent, not broken.
Yes.
All those mantras and stuff like that, they really do speak to it. And so we got to make sure that we tag Hugh because he got a shout out for something. So he'll be happy to hear that.
He's going to be at my hike. He's coming.
Well, there you go.
Yes.
I got to get him to bring his ass out to Connecticut.
Yeah, Hugh, go to Connecticut.
You heard it. It sounded like a challenge. Well, I don't think there's anything else. I think that about wraps it up. Do you have any other words of wisdom you'd like to bestow upon our viewers, our watchers, our listeners, and all that good stuff?
Embrace this community. If you haven't done it yet, get out and do a hike. It's such a wonderful community. They've kept me afloat for years now. So just get out there and experience it.
You heard her. Get out there and experience it. You
Yeah.
got nothing better to do on a Saturday anyway.
Right.
And there you have it. Olivia, we thank you very, very much for spending some time with us today. Thank you so very much.
Yes.
We really do appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for listening and tuning in and hanging out with us with this episode. Be sure to share it far and wide so we can bring a little bit of humor and camaraderie to anybody who might want to give it a listen. Until next time, stay reverent, my friends.